for many, many years, over 50 years, maybe close to 60 years. And he established the Pacific Islands Bible College. That is a great work in the Pacific Islands. And Robert has worked on that course, and he's developed online courses, and the work is self-supporting in that you're teaching men who will be able to teach other men. And so we're thankful for Robert being here. We're appreciative for the lesson that Robert presented this morning. If you didn't get a chance to hear it this morning, great lesson. It is archived on our website, so we encourage you to go and listen to that lesson. But we're very thankful that Robert is here this morning. He's going to give a report on the work over in the Pacific Islands this morning. So I don't want to take up much of his time. So we're going to give the floor to Robert, and we'll convene later after that.
I know what you're already thinking, so don't think it. I say that lovingly, jokingly, partly. As you get older in age, things change. And I'm fixing to have my first surgery when I get back in. I'm about to leave in a few more weeks for American Samoa. I just got back from New Zealand about 10, 11 days ago. And I'll be going to American Samoa the first day of November. And in between that, or when I get back, not in between that, when I get back from American Samoa, I've got to have my first surgery in 81 years. That don't mean that I hadn't been stitched up. I have been stitched up from playing football back when we didn't even have helmets. No, I'm joking. We did, but it was with one of our rivalry teams, and my helmet came off, and two linebackers had been after me for 2 years, and they finally crushed my nose, and they had to have 21 stitches. I have never been cut on in 81 years. And they're wanting to do surgery on my right hip, not for a hip replacement, but I've got those South Carolina Gamecocks fighting in my right hip. I've got spurs, and they are very agitating, to say the least. They never quit fighting. And so because of that, I asked Alfred and Randy if I could have a chair to sit in. It just takes pressure off that right hip. I can still go halfway around the world. Don't worry about that. And the brethren are so good and take good care of me. We have joyfully been involved in the Lord's work. And God just put us, these two Northwest Alabama kids, God just put us in the middle of the Pacific a little over 51 years ago. And has blessed us with these 51 joyful years. God has blessed us for 58 years of our lives. Isn't that a sweetheart? I want to see it up close. Yeah, boy, she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart. Listen, yes. And she still is a sweetheart. And I thank God for her every day. But God's blessed us. We are very thankful to God for all of His gracious blessings. Are there struggles and hardships? Yes. But there is no use in whining about struggles and hardships. All you can do is suck it up and live with it and go on. Now, Alfred, that's a football term, and Richard, and some of you football players. We just have to go on, and that beautiful bride of mine, she is the best of the best. And she's not here, so I can say it, and hopefully she's not watching this morning, I hope. I I am very thankful to God for the Tara elders, they go all the way back, and Richard was the first one to come and to see firsthand different areas of the Pacific. Richard used to be a yearly PIBC teacher until those golden years creeped up on him, and it became too much of a hardship. And so we're thankful to God. Scott Richards, let me tell you, that Scott, he has gone with me into places where I have to be very careful who I take into those places. And he has done wonderfully well, I can promise you. And Alfred, I mean, you know, the Fijians love him. Listen, I got to tell you this. Mary's namesake, little Mary, we call it the Yava in Fijian, she said to her mother in Fijian, but I understood what she was saying. She said, Mama, why isn't this Fijian talking to me in Fijian? Talking about Alfred. Alfred, you remember we were eating our favorite food. We were eating chicken. And little Mary said, Mommy, ask Brother Robert, why isn't this Fijian talking to me in Fijian like him? And she said, because he's not a Fijian. He is a African American, and but so are Fijians. They're Fijian Africans, and so there is a kinship there. But all of your elders, except Brother Catonhead, has come, and so many years Richard came in so many places, and we appreciate this congregation being so involved with us. We have never in 51 years stopped taking the gospel to the cities. Now they're becoming fewer and fewer and fewer. Well, after 51 years, they should. And I can say that this is the capital of the Fiji Island, Suva, that today runs over 500,000 people in that one city. And it's a city all the way from the city itself of Suva all the way to the Nassau Airport that carries the airport for the capital area. It's a city all the way, 15 miles of nothing but city, and in every direction. And it will be our intentions to carry the gospel until the day we die, or until we cannot physically or mentally do it anymore. And then I'll have to give it to the next generation. One of our younger missionaries, who you also have support, we had a PIBC staff meeting on Thursday, and Stacy didn't sing happy birthday. He's got a good voice. He can lead singing. And but he said, Robert, you must now have seen maybe 4 or 5 generations or more. And we have, and there'll come a time, I'm hoping that I'm 90 or 109 like my great-grandmother, but I'll take it until the Lord says you can't take it no more. And then I'll have to give it to the younger generations. Our goal and objective is through using different things to carry the gospel. Tracts, they're still effective. Bible correspondent courses, just meeting people and talking to people. I am a terrible going from house to house. The brethren in every country say, we don't want to go with you, because we get to a house and we're going to have tea and biscuits, and I don't mean biscuits like here, cookies. And you're going to have a Bible study. And so I love it. It's a part of it. You know what we are aiming to do. Our aim is to carry the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, and to make contacts, and to study the Bible with them. And we know that if we plant and we water, what is it? This is Bible class. God will do what? He'll give the increase. We don't need to worry about it. I don't worry about it one single day of my life anymore. Haven't for many, many years. Because I know my part is to evangelize, edify, and equip. And God will give the increase. But we do a lot of this work in the marketplaces. Again, the brethren say, don't go with Brother Robert. He'll set up a Bible study where everybody he meets nearly. Well, that's my objective. I may not be able to do it, but I'm going to also, when I'm in the market, and I love it because that's what we're about, isn't it? Sharing the gospel with others. And I don't always do that. We don't always give out tracts. I just love going to the market. It brings back great memories. Our oldest daughter, Tanya, she used to go with me whenever she could. She was a market girl, and she loved going. And so there were times we just went to the market to go to the market. But there are designated times when we're going to be giving out tracts and enrolling people in Bible correspondent courses and setting up Bible studies. Sometimes I'll have a policeman to come into a Bible study because he'll get nosy and he'll say, what's going on? There's a whole group of people over there. Something's going on. Maybe there's a fight breaking out. Well, no fight. I'm trying to share the gospel with others, and it brings in a crowd of people when you do. We are still busy about taking the gospel to the villages. We were 51 years ago, and we're still in that. We're still in it. Sometimes, if you ever have the opportunity, and I don't share this with every congregation, the only reason I'm here reporting because you're so special. And that's not yummy yummy. In Fijian, we say yummy yummy when we're saying somebody buttering us up for something. No, I'm not. I don't do that. But you are special. And I'm not yummy yummying either, okay? But sometimes if you ever have a chance and have the opportunity, I have set up a full Pacific Islands culture and missions room in the old library at Forest Park. The eldership finally gave it to me after about 79 years, and it's fully operational. And I carry groups through it. So Alfred and Richard, as elders that are still or that are here today, if there's ever a group want to go through it from Tara, all you got to do is let me know. And if I'm in the States, we'll accommodate you. All right, we'll accommodate you. Our work has always been centered around the idea of edifying. Way before PIBC, the Pacific Islands Bible College, we were already very involved in this. We did it in workshops. I was a great believer because I said to Mary Ann, we first got to Fiji because no one had ever had a visa before us and a work permit. I said, Mary, we don't know, the government may close us down after 2 years. Well, 3 years for us. That was unheard of in those days, but some reason, and I know the reason, they gave us a 3-year visa and work permit. But I said, we may not go no time beyond that. We better edify, enlighten, encourage, strengthen on-the-job training classes. And today, PIBC, we need to do the whole 10 yards, and we need to do it every day. So we do a lot of it in classes, on-the-job training. You ever thought why Paul always carried a group of men with him? They weren't going sightseeing. They were not on a holiday or vacation. They were not going sightseeing, but rather is on-the-job training, right? Think about all those young men, and maybe some that were no longer just young men. He carried them that on-the-job training with them. And with him, and that got a lot done. And he carried it to another generation, and another generation. And you're going to see the reality of this. Now, the top 2 pictures. The only reason I'm not in the top, on my hand, left side, I always used to hate offense in football. Because you had to remember all those plays, and I couldn't remember 1 or 2 plays. And they just tell me which way to block after that, and I blocked. Defense, don't have to be smart. Just search it man out, we've got the ball. But I was taking the picture in that upper, must be your left-hand side with Brother Tolasunga Funtia. Remember, Richard, you remember the time we slept under a coconut tree in the village of Lolamonga at the bottom of the mountain, that village? He was with us. Tolasunga was. Well, we decided, we didn't decide. I went to the radio station, the only AM radio station. In those days, no AM, no FM station, only AM. And I talked the manager into giving us a 30-minute radio program, a weekly radio program. We're going to spread the gospel. We've always done it with radio. We still have programs going. In addition to Randy English, really increasing that a lot. But we've always had them. We still got this one going in Samoa, in Western Samoa. So Tolasunga said, after I talked the radio manager into it, before I knew any of the Samoan brethren that would do it, Tolasunga said, I'll do it. You'll have to write my sermon out for me, Robert. You know, I've been preaching, but I still need for you on the radio to do this radio sermon. You write it out. So I said, okay, I'll write out the first 4 or 5. And then after that, you'll get the gist of it, and then you do it. So I wrote the first one. You with me? You in the ship with me? Okay. I write the first one out. We get to AP2, the AM radio station, and you have to do it live. You have to go in and record it live. Those are the days of those big reels. And so, Tolasunga said, Brother Robert, I'm about to get sick. I said, don't cry, brother. Just don't get sick. You got to do this radio program. I don't have anybody else that's willing to do it. He said, Brother Robert, I'm fixing to lose it. I said, run for the door, Tolasunga. He took off and he spread it across the back porch of that building under a tree. Oh, mercy me. So I went out and checked on him when I knew he was through, because I gag easy. So I wasn't going to get to doing it with him. And so I said, okay, Tolasunga, here, drink this water. You ready to go back in? Yeah, I'm ready to go back in. That happened 3 times. That was the first time. Second time, third time, I said, okay, you struck out. No more getting sick, Tolasunga. You know what he did? He sat down. And that was it's still today a masterpiece. Now, who you see down below, the bottom must be your right side. Me with Tolasunga and Emily, just on this last trip to Auckland, New Zealand. Wow. Many years have gone by. They've aged considerably. You know Tolasunga? He said, me and you are like a flea and a dog, Robert. I said, what are you talking about, boy? What are you talking about? We like a flea and a dog. He said, I'm going to stay with you everywhere you go in Samoa. Every village, every city part of Apia, I'm going to be by your side because I want to learn. Boy, did he learn. He became a great preacher, is a great preacher to this very day. Great soul winner, great edifier, a great equipper. And can I tell y'all something? Are you ready for this one? I had taught and baptized Tolasunga. Are you listening? Don't go to sleep on me now. All right, you listening? He did that radio program for 3 years. Only one person obeyed the gospel. You know who it was? His wife, Emily. Wasn't that worth it all? Now, you haven't heard the end of this story. A number of years ago, Richard, after that episode at Lolamonga village, when they kicked us out of a house, and we didn't do anything bad, did we, Richard? They just didn't like the gospel. And we were speaking the truth in love, Ephesians 4:15. We really were speaking the truth in love. They kicked us out. We had nowhere to sleep except under a coconut tree. And so, those years went by, Richard. They migrated about 27 years ago to New Zealand, Tolasunga and Emily. You know what they did? They couldn't go worship with the English-speaking congregations at South Auckland or Morningside. Two good congregations. You know what I told Emily? We will start meeting in our home. We'll have our services in Samoan, and then we'll invite every Samoan we can find. Remember, they're from Samoa. You know what, today, you see that congregation? A congregation of about 75. They have over $85,000 in the bank that they've saved outside their operating expenses to buy a piece of land with a house on it for a meeting place. You know where that started? On that very dark evening in a creek baptizing Talasunga into Christ. We never know, those we teach and baptize, what great things they will do for the Lord. This is a bunch. This is a bunch. All of these are Roberts. They are, we call in Fijian a Yava. They are Lopaki Titi and Samoan, and there are others. Every one of these men, except the two smaller fellows, are preachers of the gospel. Because they said, our fathers told us that we must live right and we must preach the gospel like our namesake. Isn't that wonderful that their fathers had that in mind? Even the two little Roberts, and this is not all of them, this is just a little handful of them. The two little ones have told me on this last trip to New Zealand and to Fiji, we've been told that we have to live right and talk right and preach the good news of Jesus Christ right. And we are going to be gospel preachers. These two little Roberts, and you don't know how much that thrills my soul. Now don't worry, there's probably a little more little Marys than little Roberts. And they're told about their namesake. The gospel will go on and on, first, second, third, fourth, fifth generation. And I give God all the honor and glory and praise for it all. Are you reading what's on the screen? Do you feel the impact? You know, one drop of water can make a great impact. Am I right? It can cause a terrific flood, and it's powerful. Am I right? You don't believe water is powerful? Many years ago, Brother Willie Cato carried Brother Marshall Keeble to Africa, his only trip to Africa. And Brother Willie Cato carried him to the ocean front. And they always called each other by their last names. And so Brother Willie Cato said to Brother Keeble, Keeble, what do you think about this? And the ocean waves were coming in. You know what Brother Keeble said? He didn't mix words too much. He said it like it was. Spoke the truth in love, but he didn't mix words. Do you know what he said to Brother Willie Cato? Guess. He said, the Lord said to that water, that's far enough. Isn't that powerful? You ever thought about the deepest ocean in the world is the Pacific, 7 miles deep in the Marianas Trench. If the Lord wouldn't stop in that water, don't you know it would even cover every high mountain in New Zealand and Australia and Fiji and some of the other places? Now, here's what I want to say. So now you understand why one drop of water is so powerful. Am I right? Shake your head like this. Yeah, we know. Okay. You know what an impact Pacific Islands Bible? I never dreamed when I woke Mary up about 2 a.m. in Saipan because we had been dreaming about it I've been wanting to climb that mountain for many years. And we've been praying about it. And I woke her up about 2 a.m. I said, sweetheart, get up. She went, what's wrong with the house on fire? I said, no, it's middle of the night, but get up. I've decided how we're going to set up a school. And so what a joy it's been to have Richard and Scott Richards and Alfred with me. Alfred's my buddy, and Richard too, and all of them. But I never dreamed what an impact this would make. Please be patient and listen a minute. 27 years, 33,000 people we have taught. Think about 3,000 obeying the gospel. Is that a wow? Isn't this a wow? 27 years, not same people, 3,000 people we have touched their lives. What are we doing? We're putting the Word of God in their heart, in their mind, and in their soul. I don't mean this thing that pumps the blood. I mean this thing right here that shares the gospel with others. And so you and I, brothers, we went off the screen totally. I'm sure that you will know what to do. I don't think I touched anything. We're back. Okay. Scott Richards said, Robert, it's new. Please don't mess it up. I said, I'll try, brother. I'll try. I'll just mash whatever I'm supposed to mash to go to the next one. Brothers, from the Fiji Islands, where our biggest classes are, we're in 5 different locations in all the country of the Fiji Islands. 5 different locations. This is our biggest class. It is the biggest number of students on any occasion. It is in Suva, the capital. And we are thankful to God. We had 125 students that came through the 2 PIBC classes. Think about that. They came for 3 hours every night for 15 nights. We didn't even give them a break on a Saturday or Sunday. Can't give a break on Sunday. It's the first day of the week. All right. 125 students came through these 2 courses. Now, not all of them got credit, but many of them did. Now, are all of our classes this big? No. We have classes where we may have 15, 20, 25, 30, 40. We have different sizes of classes in all of these. This is our class in New Zealand, in Auckland. Karen, just forgive me, okay, before I ever said. If we could get all those Pakehas to come for 15 nights, or even 10 nights, and I know you're sitting there saying, what are Pakehas? Well, it's a Maori word for white people. And that's no reflection on any of us. But we can't get them to come out. They think when the sun goes down, they got to get their kids in school, in the bed for school the next day. Whether we do it for 7 nights or 14 nights, our biggest participation is from the Samoan community of believers. We had 66 students to come through this. Now, give me a second. Richard and Dixie and Randy and Greg and Karen, Trevor and Chris. Trevor and Chris send their love to you in a special way. And some other people that told me don't forget their names. That's like talking to the piece of wood for me anymore. Alfred, I forgot their names. But some other people, also there are a number of others that hold Richard and Dixie and their family in very high esteem in New Zealand. We had 66 students that came through the PIBC courses. Now, not all 66 got credit for taking the courses. And this was the exam night, so we only had those who wanted to get credit for the courses sitting for the exam. What are we doing in Pacific Islands Bible College? Boy, first of all, we're turning out elders. It is thrilling, exciting to see this. More Bible school teachers, more preachers. More elders, more teachers, more preachers. Also, we have young translators that are coming along, the younger generation. Pacific Islands Bible College is giving them that Bible knowledge, and we make sure that it's put into what? Put into practice. Whatever area they are working in, we make sure they're always putting it into practice. Radio speakers and soul winners for Jesus Christ. Brethren, we're not only, and I love this picture so much, we're not only training the older men, edifying, strengthening, enlightening the older men, but also we've got in mind those little ones coming up. This little fellow hung on to my Sulu Vakatunga. Don't call it a skirt either. But anyway, he hung on to my Sulu Vakatunga wherever I was in the village for 3 weeks. He just hung on to it. His name's not Robert, but he's going to grow up being an elder, a deacon, a teacher, a preacher in the Lord's church. And we're thankful to God for that. You know, I'm not exaggerating one bit. I am married to must be one of the most positive ladies in the whole world. She just, sometimes something will be happening that I think, this is terrible, this is not good. And she's laughing and giggling about it. She's not only a mother, a very loving mother, a loving helpmate. You don't know the half of it. I didn't go and tell you my first surgery this morning. I'll stop and do that now. They're fixing to cut open my hand here because I've got carpal tunnel. I could not get my shirt buttoned. Now, don't go telling that nowhere. I'll deny it. You'll make me sin, and I'll have to repent and go forward. But I'm telling you, I couldn't get the buttons because I can't feel anything from the third finger over to the fifth finger on this side of my hand. Alfred, I can still hit, but I can't feel. And that's good. That lady said, don't you worry, I got you covered. Isn't that wonderful to have a helpmate like that? And never complain about it in one way. We were talking this morning, and I said to her, I've got a project I got to jump on Monday to help some of the brethren in the Pacific. And you know what she said? Don't give it. Don't take it. I'll take it. It's like she ain't got anything to do. Maria, because of suffering of many health issues, really demands a 24-hour taking care of. Since she's a lady, I can't do it. But I can be the grocery boy. I can be the boy that'll run all the errands and do other things when I'm in the States. If I tell y'all something we y'all not know, I ought to know better. Brethren, they're the biggest blabberers in the world. They can talk, they'll go out the door talking about it, won't you? Don't you do it. When I'm gone, we have a lady at Forest Park, is like Mary's baby sister. And I'm not talking about Dixie. Dixie's her older sister who she loves dearly. But Susan Skelton is one of the most wonderful people you've ever met. And Mary cannot sneeze, and Susan will say, I'll be there in 15 minutes, Mary. Mary and Marie had not called in to her when Maria was in the hospital in September. And then recently just got out, Maria again on Saturday morning, Friday morning, I think. Friday morning. And Mary and Maria had not called her, and she took off over to the hospital. And they said, we've already dismissed Miss Maria, and she headed to our house. Isn't that wonderful to have? And let me tell you something. She don't only have that same care for us, and for Maria especially, but also many people in the church. All that she can care for in that great day. You know how long Tara has been a part of our support system? Standing by, ready to help us every month and every way they can. You see that? 47 of the 51. Ever since this congregation started in the gymnasium over at the old school building. I don't know if it still stands. I want to say to you that Mary and I love and appreciate you, not because we have family here all together. All of you are our family. You're our brothers and our sisters. When Alfred and I were together in Lumbassa, Joan at the front desk at the Grand Eastern Hotel where we stayed, and where Mary and I have stayed all of our lives when we're in Lumbassa, Fiji. It goes back to 1899, the old original wooden building. And Miss Joan at the front desk said to me, who is that with you? He looks a Fijian, but I know he's not. I said, he's my brother. She said, have you lost your mind? If you did, you got different mothers. I said, no, he's my spiritual brother. He's my spiritual brother. He's more than that. And I thank God. You are our spiritual brothers and our spiritual sisters. You are our family. And we love you and appreciate you for supporting me and Stacy and for Nathaniel. You're a wonderful group of people, and many others that you help support in mission work. Well, what time am I supposed to stop? Right now? Okay, I won't go overtime. I know Alfred. Brother, don't depend on me. I can't even hear that chirping bird at Maston Lake Road. Well, they're not meeting there no more, but they have a chirping bird. That bird always tickles me. Okay, any questions? I know this is a Bible class hour. I'm not allowing the women to speak out of turn. You know your respective biblical roles, but this is a Bible class, am I right? And if you can speak loud enough for this young man to hear you, now I'm not deaf yet, and all my teeth have not fallen out, but you have to speak up and don't talk like this. If you talk like this, I can't hear you. Okay? Any questions about our work? And this is a special report for Fairview. For Tara. I don't know why I said Fairview, because they're right next door. All right. Yes, ma'am.
How many trips a year do you make?
How many what?
How many trips a year do you make?
I don't know. The other elders at Forest Park said, we opened a can of worms when we told you it wouldn't affect your work in the Pacific Islands. In my mind, can't remember how many I've made this year. I've made a number of trips. But this next trip is part of our elders' supervision. So I said to them, the other two elders, don't count this trip, because they were counting up the trips this year. But it's a lot. I make enough. And when I go, I don't go for less than a month. Usually I was in Fiji for 2 months, but that's like home. And those brethren just wear me out. And they worry me to death. Both begin with a W. They worry me and they wear me out. Because at night when we're going back to the Jeep, for me to go back to the motel room, I've got one on each arm. And I said, brothers, I'm not an invalid yet. They said, Brother Robert, we've been with you, our fathers and us, for 50 years or more, and we know we're going to take care of you. If we don't, our fathers and mamas will come out of the grave on us. And so we're going to take care of you. So I just as well to let them take the arms and go. So I make a number of trips every year.
He wears them out.
It's a good wearing out, isn't it, Dixie? It's a good wearing out.
We are aware of your aging.
Yeah, thank you.
There will be a time when you cannot go, but you and the Forest Park elders are to be commended for preparing for the unknown future.
Thank you. Thank you.
Having Stacy Ferguson
And Nathaniel.
and Nathaniel.
Yes. Yes, we,
When you cannot go.
yes.
Worry, and it's a sin to worry anyway, you can't worry.
You know what the brethren called Mary when I was in Fiji last time? And they said, we don't care if you have to put him on the plane in a wheelchair. We don't care if he has to use a walker. We don't care if he crawls. But then I know that the time will come and I must be ready and I must accept it. Was that the first bell, second bell, all bells? First bell, okay.
You have to listen to advice too, and especially that one you love so dearly.
Yes, yes. And I talk with her all the time and we are on the same page all the time. We're on the same page all the time. And I thank God for that. Yes. Yes. When I left on that trip to New Zealand, Maria said, Daddy, would you please get out of here? She said, and if you don't go, I'm gonna help you go to Abraham's bosom in a hurry. She can talk back. She's only one of the kids that can mouth back to me. But I have a great support system, and I'm thankful to God for that. I'm so thankful. Any other questions or comments? This is a Bible class, and I don't want to go into your worship hour next. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it, and I hope that we are a blessing to you. Thank you. Boy, that's like going to...
Testing.
Let me get this on. Yes, it's not like that chirping bird, Dixie.
Testing one.
Well, you had it cut off.
Yeah.